Kulabinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tawenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news, students expelled for swearing at security guard. Lawyers told to prepare well for trial cases. And former hibiscus queen crowned Miss World Fiji 2017.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Amrita Sagar.
4 students of Queen Victoria School in Tailevu have been expelled and told to find another school for swearing at the school's security guard. School principal Seru Banuve told FBC News the incident took place about 2 weeks ago. The principal confirms 4 students who were found smoking inside the school compound swore at the security for reporting the matter to the principal. FBC News contacted Education Minister Dr. Mehend Reddy, who wasn't aware of the incident. We also spoke to the president of the All Boys Association, Andre Vodea, who also did not have any information about the incident, but has sent an email to the school's principal to find out more. Sources close to FBC News alleged that some students may have also engaged in a violent activity in relation to this incident. However, there's no report of that yet, and further investigations are to be made. A 32-year-old man has died following an accident at Vilimaria settlement in Taveuni. Divisional Police Commander Northern Veramu Nakauyada has confirmed the victim was driving a vehicle with 3 others when he allegedly lost control, veered off the road and went down a cliff. Nakauyada says the other 3 passengers are still admitted at the Taveuni hospital. He believed they were under the influence of alcohol when the incident took place. A post-mortem is expected to be conducted next week. The road death toll stands at 25 compared to 22 for the same period last year. Prepare your case as well, or you will allow a criminal to walk free, pointed out by High Court Judge Justice Salesi Temo in Suva this week. Justice Temo was speaking at the first gathering of the Fiji Women's Lawyers Association since 2008. Akasita Tale has the details.
One of the country's longest-serving criminal high court judge says preparation is the most important tool for lawyers when battling in the courtroom.
When I see a lawyer is well prepared, I'm very happy because it will make the job easier for me. I won't make a wrong decision. I'll be happy to send someone to prison knowing that that lawyer has done a proper job and will assist me make whether it's the decision and it's the right decision.
Justice Salesi Temo says there is no mentors in Fiji to teach lawyers the art of courtroom techniques.
You sort of graduate from university and you are thrown into the fire. Then you are expected to learn. But for us trial judges, I have to share with you, we're getting sick and tired to becoming teachers, teaching you on courtroom methods, etc. I feel sorry for the newly admitted ones.
The Fiji Law Society says it will work together with the Fiji Women's Lawyers Association to have more legal education.
We have also strengthened relationships with our members. We've got the mentoring program afoot. We also have our continuing legal education that has not that wasn't happening in the last few years. But with that, we've been able to at least achieve our objectives for the Fiji Law Society in ensuring that our members are, their standards are brought up.
Justice Temo adds Fiji's criminal courts are evolving, and one of the biggest changes seen is the rise of female lawyers handling criminal cases. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
25-year-old Nanise Rainima will represent Fiji at the Miss World pageant after she was crowned at the Miss World Fiji finals in Suva last night. The former Miss Hibiscus also won the Miss Photogenic title and stood out from the 13 finalists to take over the reins from Miss World Fiji 2016 Pooja Priyanka. Akasita Tale with more.
The Tailevu beauty has promised to represent our nation to the best of her ability at the Miss World stage come December.
I'm looking forward to what lies ahead.
Right now, what I'm challenged to do is to represent Fiji to the best of my ability, and that is in every area. And yeah, for the most part, I'm really excited for this journey. And a roller coaster or not, I believe any woman who takes this position should be able to do it to the best of her ability.
Rainima says this is a much bigger step from being crowned Miss Hibiscus in 2014 and representing the country to the Miss Pacific Islands pageant in the same year.
We've been working so hard with the girls. We've been at different tourism excursions, and coming tonight it was a clear-headed thing for me. I just came and I just told myself, go put your heart out there, do your best, Nani, and God will do the rest. And so I did, and I enjoyed myself.
Miss World Fiji director Andy Blake says Rainima is going to be a great ambassador for the nation as he plans to begin preparations right away with the main focus on climate change.
Well, this year there's been a lot of focus on climate change, and our Honourable Prime Minister has, is spearheading this course. So I think we'll be looking at climate change in part with our Beauty with a Purpose project. And I think that's something new and really important because we would like to spearhead this at the Miss World pageant come November.
The Miss World pageant will be held in China at the end of this year. Miss World will have a new format this year which will include a greater emphasis on social media and interactivity throughout the 28-day festival. Ako si Tatale, FBC News.
Still to come, polling venues for 2018, election registered. And we meet the lady behind the My Life magazine empire. Details after the break.
Nimbula binaka na yalangunga andi moal ranalika o tikongon na tao na singatoka ando talitaka na bakaronga ng Bula FM nambandua na serre.
Ya dora subuli kurna bili. Borani batukara hambara binanga. Do talitakin na bakaronga ng Bula FM.
The Fijian Elections Office has confirmed that majority of the polling venues around the country are registered. Election Supervisor Mohammed Saneem says that while more will be revealed later, they're doing this early to avoid confusion in the 2018 general election. Savara Tambua tells us. We apologize for that technical difficulty. Now, Haile Nganga was crowned Miss Nasinu at the Millennium Sinu Festival at the Valelevu grounds last night. Representing Nasinu Town Council, Nganga scooped a total of 4 awards at the crowning. Sharon Shivan reports.
Miss Nasinu Town Council,
I am speechless. The visibly emotional beauty queen told the screaming crowd minutes after being crowned.
Honestly, lost of words at this time. But my emotions are full. I am filled with so much gratitude to God.
23-year-old Nganga was also named Miss Charity and won awards for Best Talent, Best Traditional Attire and Best Research Topic.
My friends, my supporters, and especially to the Nasinu Town Council. This win is dedicated to you all.
Take this opportunity to thank the organizing committee for selecting their theme of climate change, rebuild, retain and restore.
Originally from Dreketi, Nganga will now represent Nasinu at the Miss Fiji pageant later this year. The first runner-up was Miss Daulomani Haya Plant Vainiana Vakandeva Tambua, while Miss Public Rental Board Laisani Sepo was crowned the second runner-up. Sharon Shivan, FBC News.
Now we return to our story of the Fijian Elections Office polling venues, and as mentioned earlier, the Fijian Elections Office has confirmed that majority of the polling venues around the country are registered. However, Mohammed Saneem, the supervisor of elections, says that more will be revealed later. Savara Tambua tells us more.
Fijians have been encouraged to take advantage of the registration drive to get clarifications on where and when they can vote in next year's general election.
That's what we have done now, so you can know whether you are voting before election day as a pre-poll person or are you voting on election day. So that's one improvement in the list. You can also now see where you're supposed to vote.
Fijians have welcomed this view as it will greatly assist them come 2018.
Yeah, it's a good idea that next year election me and my wife can vote to the same place.
For us voters, this will be of great help.
Those who are married can vote in the same polling station next year compared to the previous election, where many voted from separate polling venues.
As we are aware, in 2014 there were situations where the husband was voting in one polling station and the wife was voting in the other. So what we are trying to do this time is to give them opportunity to come and see where they're supposed to vote, and then if they're voting in different places and if they want to vote in the same polling venue, they can apply to change their details.
The Fijian Elections Office is encouraging all Fijians to participate in the electoral process currently underway. The registration drive will end next month. Sabera Tabua, FBC News.
A classic English movie where a small-town girl with big dreams makes it all happen. That's a perfect sum up to Nazia Ali's successful life. Ali operates My Life and Fiji Airways in-flight magazine called Fiji Time. But her journey has been one with many parts. Rachel Nat caught up with Ali for Our Successful Fijian tonight and brings us the story of the lady behind the magazine empire.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
The more the digital.
35-year-old Nazia Ali grew up in Ba, then moved to Suva to further her education as a journalist. However, it was only in secondary school when she realized reporting was her true passion.
As a kid, I used to always listen to people telling stories, and I, being the youngest, you have everybody who's older than you. And sometimes they forgot that there was a kid standing around who was absorbing all the news. It was mainly gossip, but the next thing I would find myself telling other people. And there was other journalists who were out on the front line, covering the news, telling us who are remote from Suva about what's happening, and that's how you are connected to what's happening in this part of the country. So for me, it was like, oh, I want to be in that position so I could be the person that finds out firsthand and then share that information with the people around me or people who don't know.
After completing her education, Nazia became a tutor at USB, only to make her entry into mainstream media.
I was doing current affairs for Fiji TV, and then from there I moved on into PR. So I worked for SOPAC for a bit, and then I also worked for one of the UN agencies, UN Women. I worked there for 5 years before I started business.
Nazia's creative passion drove her to venture into operating the magazine company Cover Story in 2012.
I've always wanted to be a travel journalist. I think it goes back to me being a kid. I used to collect postcards from all around the world, and all I wanted to do was to travel to all these parts of the world and take similar photographs and say that I've been there and share what that world is about. And so I didn't really find the opportunity in Fiji, so I had to create something. So I had thought of starting up a magazine.
The company ventured into publishing My Life, My Style, My Travel and Fiji Airways in-flight magazine Fiji Time. But Nazia's knack for art allowed her to explore other genres.
I did a bit of acting and I did a bit of film work as well in the past. I was also in pageants, so probably a decade ago I was Miss Fiji, and I went to South Africa as Miss India Fiji. And then I've also had a lot of interest in fashion. So I had a fashion line called Mataka, and that worked for me for a while. I played touch rugby at university level, and I played soccer too, but I think I was more inclined to fashion and style, so I decided to hang my boots.
Growing up in a small, crazy soccer town, Nazia had already set her eyes towards higher horizons, and she strongly believes her achievements stem from hard work.
I'm a very sort of hungry person of life. I want to do a lot of things in life rather than just doing one thing. I want to try out as many things as possible to see if I can do it. I like challenges. And trust me, there were days when I cried and said, what did I just do? But then, now that I look back, it's made me stronger. It's made now, like I'm able to deal with even bigger challenges.
Making your dreams a reality is something Nazia has never fallen short of.
I think no dream is small. And whatever you put your heart to, you can achieve. And no matter what people say, regardless of your racial background, how you look, even your height or your weight or whatever, nothing can ever stop you from achieving your dream, because they are yours and they rightfully belong to you. So nothing should ever, make you question yourself whether you should be able to do this. Just like, when do I do it and how do I do it? That's what you need to ask yourself.
For Nazia, the world is her canvas and she believes there's much more writing to be done. But for now, starting a family is on the front of her next cover. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
Successful Fijians was brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Coming up in FBC Sports, big names to join Flying Fijians soon. And South Pacific Bowling Carnival finishes on a high note. This and more after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकु रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1, इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टको ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
New Caledonia is currently leading the Vodafone Fiji football team 1-0 in the second half of the return match of the FIFA World Cup Stage 3 qualifier in Noumea. With only 1 point on the table for Group A after Wednesday's 2-2 draw with New Caledonia, Fiji will need a win and finish runners-up in its group. Vodafone Flying Fijians coach John McKee is looking at the bigger picture after last night's loss to the Wallabies. Their 37-14 defeat is the first of 5 mid-year tests that they will play, with the final 2 against Samoa and Tonga ultimately deciding the 2019 Rugby World Cup pool. Spade scored 2 tries together with Israel Folau. The Australian side led 18-0 at half-time. Fiji winger Vereniki Ngoneva had their first try in the 63rd minute, slipping through the Wallabies' defence. Timothy Nungusa found himself amongst the forwards as he used his strength to score Fiji's last try. However, this was not enough to match up to the Wallabies. The Fijians produced a tough test for the Wallabies, who showed their class through a clinical finish. The Flying Fijians will host Italy at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday at Suva's ANZ Stadium. Now, big Fijian rugby stars are set to return to the Vodafone Flying Fijians lineup in the coming weeks. Maduata again registered a loss at home, but this time to Suva in the Skipper Cup competition. The side will most likely be dropped from the A division after this season. Eleanor Trangeviu reports.
It was a physical match, one that saw many mistakes, some injuries and a couple of yellow cards flashed. Maduata desperate for a win against the visiting Suva side, but failed in its bid to do so.
We could have done better. We gave some possessions away, which take advantage by Suva, and that's it. We didn't turn up today, resulting in that margin.
The first half of the game saw Maduata cross the try line once, but with an unsuccessful conversion. Suva, on the other hand, scored 2 tries. The first half ended with Suva leading Maduata 19-8.
I think there's a lot of improvement needs by Maduata. A lot of basic mistakes. These are basic secondary school stuff. Not done properly. We are overcommitted at the breakdown, causing Suva to go on the fringes, and they go on the front foot on that.
In the second half, Maduata came in with the force, fighting hard against the much more organised Suva side. Its only try in the second half was successfully converted. Suva crossed over for 2 more tries before the game ended. They won 36-15.
We accomplished what we came for, that is to go back with 5 points. 5 points that's a win, and a win with a bonus point. Congratulations to the boys. We work hard throughout the week. because of our loss last week. So I think we just lost composure in the last a few minutes, losing a lot of set pieces.
This is Madhuwata's second last game, and it is currently placed last in the Skipper Cup competition. Next week's game against Nandronga could possibly be its last in this grade. The bottom two teams in the Skipper Cup will drop to B Division, and the top two from the B Division will go up. Eleanor Turangaibiu, FBC Sports.
Lilin Memorial School's under-18 rugby team recorded its first win 3-0 against St. John's College in the Eastern Zone Fiji Secondary School rugby competition yesterday. Both teams showed classic performances in their defence line, resulting with no score throughout the game. Melita Vanga reports.
The Overlow-based school provided a tough competition against Lilin. They defeated Lilin on their home turf last week. However, it was a different ball game today.
We still have a lot of room for improvement. We still have a lot of place to work on, a lot of areas, and yes, but we are so fortunate that we came out victorious.
Despite losing its first 3 games in the past 3 weeks, the boys from the Vuilevu have learned from their weaknesses and aiming for a win in the semi-finals.
We missed out on it was our game plan. Most of us still have to work on our game plan, and some of the boys still have not familiar with all the structures. And but overall, we have improved.
The Eastern Zone competition officials say competition among participating schools are intense.
We are into our last phase of the competition of the Eastern Zone, and looking at the preparation by the schools, especially in the under-18 grade, the old scholars, the parents, the stakeholders of the 4 schools in the Eastern Zone, the powerhouse of Fiji Secondary School rugby. Now they are gearing up for this last lap of our Eastern Zone.
Lilin will have a return match against the Wadi in the 5th round of the competition next Saturday. Melita Banga, FBC Sports.
The Geotech women's team was crowned the winner of the women's 4th final of the South Pacific Bowling Carnival at Suva Bowling Club yesterday afternoon. All 6 women's team played 5 games in the round robin, and the top 4 teams competed in the semis. Geotech team, including Losalini Tiko, Vitinia Tumbuna, Charlotte Barnett and Meriani Ralovo, defeated Litia Tikoi Suva's team 30-22 in the final. Melita Vanga reports.
The win did not come as a surprise for the crowning champion.
Like thinking to win the games today, because once we do that, we know that there will be a comeback. So we managed to work together as a team, and we did it.
Team member Meriani Ralovo acknowledged the other teams for providing them tough competition.
With my teammates, they played awesome balls today. And with other ladies, I just want to thank other ladies for giving us those tough games, but we managed to go right through.
Opponent and first runner-up winner Litia Tikoi Suva says it was a do-or-die final.
4th round, everybody had 2 wins and 2 losses on all the teams, and we had 6 rounds of round robin, and that it was anyone's game at the 6th, the 5th round, so they came up. It was a tough tournament, so you beat somebody and then the other team get better on that day, they beat somebody else.
Mainly fine weather was experienced over most parts of the country today, apart from brief showers over the eastern parts and the interior of the larger islands. A weak trough of low pressure extends from Solomon Islands over to the north of Vanuatu and Fiji and extends to the east of Fiji. Now, Lotoka, Nandi and Ba had fine weather today. Taking a look at the east, it was fine in Suva at 30 degrees. However, Nosori and Pacific Harbour was cloudy and cool at 20 degrees. Up in Vanuatu, similar conditions prevailed. Temperatures in Lambasa was at 33 degrees, while Savu Savu was cooler at 28 degrees. At sea, a strong wind warning is now in force for southern Lao waters, Koro Sea, Batuira and the Kandavu passages. The next high tide is at 7:01 a.m. and low tide is at 1:11 p.m. Sunrise will be at 6:37 a.m. Well, it's going to be a brand new week tomorrow with fine weather across all the major centres. However, Savusavu is expected to experience cloudy conditions. Southeasterly winds 20 to 25 knots are expected and up to 30 knots through the passages. Rough to very rough seas and moderate southeast swells. Fine, apart from brief showers over the eastern parts and the interior of the other larger islands. Elsewhere, mainly fine weather will prevail. It will be cool at night, and that's the further outlook. Recapping our main stories, 4 students expelled from QVS for swearing at the school's security guard. Lawyers told to prepare well for trial cases. And former Hibiscus Queen Nanise Rainima has been crowned Miss World Fiji 2017. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we ask, has the campaign for next year's general election started too soon? Visit our FBC website to answer. Do send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.org or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News, or you can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News, hashtag FBC News. Until next time, good night.
I'm Anare Sorbakroa of Nayabu Wenibuga Telebu. Whenever I want to tune in to listen to great music, I always tune in to my favorite radio station, Gold FM, only the classic.
My name is Lita. We love listening to Gold FM here at the Fiji Hideaway Resort and Spa. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
We here at Kano Waterfront Lautoka love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.